YouTube, what is going on? Welcome back to another Identityv video. Today I have the Season 39 Survivor tier list for you guys with the addition of the new Survivor, the Lanternist. I know a lot of people are asking, oh, what characters should I be playing in rank? I want to be able to rank up quicker and get to a higher tier Survivor rank, and what characters should I be playing? So this tier list will give you a good idea of what are the best characters to prioritize. I have constructed this tier list with some of the top Survivor rank players on this server, so definitely have some good input here. And without further ado, let's get into the tier list. The first Survivor in C tier is Mind's Eye. So unfortunately, Mind's Eye is one of the weakest survivors in the game just due to the fact that she's just gets targeted by the hunter. She has weak kiting potential because she vaults pallets slow, throws pallets slowly, vaults windows slowly. It just makes her very easy for the hunter to down her. And with that being said, it just makes her a weak kiter. At that point, you might as well play mechanic and at least have the bot out to a promote Cypher Rush. Next Survivor in C tier is Doctor. Doctor, pretty self-explanatory. Doctor just doesn't really have much to work with. She's got a syringe. She can heal herself. She can heal herself fast. She can heal teammates fast. But the reality is good hunters will just constantly pressure the Doctor. So she's never actually able to get her heals off in time. Chip hunters with like Bon who deal bomb damage just destroy Doctor. Even the chip damage that does give her a speed boost is not good enough. So it really just doesn't work. And yeah, so that's Doctor. Oh wait, I forgot to record this. I need to be recording this for... Actually, no, it's fine. I can just do the audio recording later. It's fine. Okay, next Survivor in C tier, and the final Survivor in C tier is Little Girl. Little Girl, the biggest issue with Little Girl, she's not a terrible character. It's just that she's not good in terms of she's not good in terms of communicating with teammates and stuff, especially when you're in solo queue. You have to be able to communicate well with teammates for Little Girl to be good. The reality is Little Girl is just not a good rank survivor because you have to like say, oh, I need to go combine with the Mercenary or the Wildling because I took damage and I need the hunter to leave me, or I need the Mercenary to take the hit. I need to go combine with them. You know, so that way the Little Girl won't get hit. The problem is, with randoms and rank, it just doesn't work. Little Girls, you should never play Little Girl unless you have a 4-person VC team. And even with that being said, she's still not a very good survivor in general. There's just better options to play instead of Little Girl. So luckily, those are the only 3 survivors in C tier. Moving on to the next tier, which is B tier. The first survivor in B tier is Faro Lady. Now, I know a lot of you guys love to play Faro Lady in rank, but Faro Lady is just not a good rank survivor. A lot of hunters are good against her, and Gamekeeper Hook has such a large hitbox, you can hit her through the invisibility. What else is there? Hullabaloo is good if you're not banning Hullabaloo. There is Wax Artist is very good. You can just shoot the wax in the direction of the blue line and build up the wax really quickly. And a lot of these hunters that I'm listing are some of the best hunters in the game that a lot of people play. Geisha is difficult because what happens is you put the butterfly on her and the butterfly stays on her while she's invisible. Crow with Nightmare, you put the crow on her and the crow stays on her and the Nightmare can see where she is. So those are some things with Faro Lady that are just make her not very good. The way I describe Faro Lady is basically she's a character that people play who are worried about kiting. If you're worried about kiting, you're just going to play Faro Lady so you can turn invisible and not get found. But the reality is you really should practice your kiting before playing rank in the first place, if that makes sense. So Faro Lady, I definitely do not recommend for rank. Once you get to higher tiers, she's just not good. A lot of hunters can easily chase her and counter her. The next survivor in B tier is Perfumer. Now, I love Perfumer. I think she's a really fun character, but right now, she just isn't very good. She's very weak to the chip hunters like Bon. Not very good against Sculptor. Not good against Anne. Anne can stun her and cancel her abilities, which is really bad for her. She's not good against Hullabaloo. She's not that good against Ivy in reality. She's just not good against a lot of things. So unfortunately, out of all the really good hunters in the game, Perfumer's not very good. Would not recommend her in rank. The next character in B tier, unfortunately, is Toy Merchant. And Toy Merchant used to be good on certain maps. Can I move over, please? Thank you. But she's just not as good as she used to be because a lot of hunters are very good against her. Goatman, very good against her. Even if you're banning her, even if you're banning Goatman, she's not particularly good against Hullabaloo. Characters like Geisha catch up very quickly. Characters like Opera Singer catch up very quickly. So Toy Merchant is just not good against some of the really good hunters in the game. She's also extremely map dependent. She's just not good on maps like Red Church or Arms Factory. She's good on Chinatown. She's good on Eversleeping Town, a lot of those 2-story maps. So besides that, weak to a lot of hunters. Just I would not recommend Toy Merchant for rank right now. She's unfortunately just one of the weaker characters right now in the meta. The next character in B tier is Postman. Postman, very fun character to play. I actually really like playing Postman. Unfortunately, he's just not very good in the meta right now as well. So that kind of makes him a bit suboptimal. So that's just... he's just not good against Opera Singer. Catches up super fast, can down him super quickly. Characters like Wax Artist, even if he slows him down, though it may seem like, oh, he's good against Wax, you can just slow down the Wax and make distance. No, the Wax Artist is still going to get Wax on you. You're not going to be able to kite very long against a Wax Artist as Postman. Something like Bloody Queen, Postman gets just destroyed by Bloody Queen. Bloody Queen just keeps the distance, uses the mirror from a distance, and gets the Postman down. So Postman is just weak against a lot of hunters. While I love to play him, I think he's really fun. He's just not good against a lot of the hunters right now. The next character in B tier is Painter. Now, I know people are like, oh, Painter is so good. You know, like, you can get these paintings, stop the hunter, kite out abilities, etc. But the reality is Painter is just really underwhelming right now. A lot of hunters, again, just down him really quickly. Good hunters will look around the painting and avoid looking at the painting that way. And for some reason, I don't know what it is, but every painter I've got in rank this season has just died so fast, and it's just so frustrating. And maybe this is my experience, but so far this season, Painter feels like a very weak character. So I would not recommend him for rank, although he is in B tier, so he is technically still playable. But if you do want to get to those high tier ranks, I would recommend some of the other survivors in the A- tier or higher. The last survivor in B tier is Lucky Guy. Where's Lucky Guy? Here he is. Lucky Guy is just not a very good survivor for rank. The reason why is his items are all just significantly less less valuable than a lot of the other survivors, like Coordinator Flare Gun, for example. I mean, some of his items are good. Like, if you get an elbow pad, that's very good. Same as Mercenary. Perfume, same as Perfumer. But items like flare guns are not as good. Items like footballs are obviously not as good because you can't stun the hunter. His items are also not always going to be guaranteed. So let's say you're searching a chest. You're kind of spinning the roulette in a lot of situations. So you're not always getting the item you want in every situation with Lucky Guy. Now, I think he's a pretty fun character to use. But I think in reality, the time it takes for you to search a chest, you're also losing out on decoding time. So you'd rather actually have a useful item in turn. Now, I think Lucky Guy is definitely the best character in B tier. I think he's pretty good. But the reality is he's not as good as the rest of the A- tier or better survivors. Moving on to the next tier, which is A- tier. The first survivor in A- tier is going to be Prisoner. Prisoner is not high A- or A+ tier. The biggest issue with Prisoner is, while he is a good kiter, decoders are just not super strong in the meta right now, just because hunters will just target them first. I'm going to make this very, very clear so everyone can understand. This is very, very important. If you guys are playing a decoding character, you have to be a good kiter. So a lot of people like to play characters like Prisoner and Composer, who's the next survivor in the tier list, because they want to, they like them. They're like, oh, these characters are so cute. These characters are fun because they decode fast, etc. But then they die super quickly because they don't know how to kite very well. If you think, be honest with yourself and ask your friends if you want an opinion. If you think you are not a very good kiter, you should not ever be playing decoding characters, because as a decoding character player, you have to be able to kite well, or else you will die quickly and you will throw the match. So do not play decoders unless you are considered to be a very good kiting player. You have good mechanical skill. Next favorite A- tier is Explorer. Explorer is pretty good in some situations in tournament, but in rank, he's just not particularly good. Characters like Peddler can instantly find him. If they spawn nearby, they'll just use the vine to get to him right away. He doesn't really have time to hide. Even as Opera Singer, like Opera's just like, Opera should be good. He should be good against Opera, but Operas get to you so fast that sometimes you just get found quickly, and that's just how it goes. So Explorer's kind of hit or miss because he's a little bit luck based in that he relies on not getting found, and sometimes the hunter gets lucky and find him. So I would not rely on luck to get to high tiers. I would rely on skill and playing good characters. So in that case, Explorer is an A- tier survivor. Also with Explorer, it's hard to communicate where ciphers are. Like, oh, this cipher needs to be done. I'm gonna go pop this cipher with a page, unless you're in 4-person VC. And in rank, I know a lot of people are stuck in solo or duo queue. The next survivor to A- tier is Lawyer. And Lawyer is... I used to love Lawyer. I used to think he was A+ tier, but unfortunately he's not as good right now just because, again, he is a decoder, so he is a relatively easy chase for a lot of hunters. Now, he is one of the better kiting decoders because he does have a map, which helps him see through walls. He does have increased vaulting speed over time, does have increased movement speed over time, and he also cannot get terror shocked, and he can also get a veteran speed bonus, which is very good as well. So Lawyer does have a lot of good things going for him, but a lot of those fast hunters that catch up quickly, Geisha, Opera Singer, Naiad, BQ, because they can just mirror on him, you can't do anything against that, he's just very weak against. So while he is a fun character to play, and he is quite good, I think he's a very good solo queue character, because you can see where all the survivors are when, you know, the random teammates don't ping. Lawyer's pretty good there, but the reality is Lawyer is just A- tier, but still not a bad character for Rake. The next character in A- tier is Embalmer. Now, I am putting Embalmer in A- tier because Embalmer is a consistent survivor. It's very easy to tie with him because he can rebirth himself, and the survivors can't, or the hunter can't get presents from it and things like that. But when he does the coffin, they don't get presents from the person who came in for rescue, and the survivors can just continue to decode and not worry about rescuing him because he has his coffin, which makes him a very good survivor for securing a tie. But the reality is he's not a very good survivor for securing a win, and in ranked mode, obviously we do want to win a lot. However, the good thing about the new rank system, you get a lot of points for a tie nowadays, so you can technically tie your way to peak tier. Obviously you should be winning, but Embalmer is a pretty good tie survivor. So Embalmer's not bad. I wouldn't highly recommend him for rank, but I think that he is not that bad of a character at all, and definitely it can be playable. Next character in A- tier is Batter. Not much to say about Batter. He's just a very good support character, good harassing character. A good Batter could definitely carry a game, but he's not as good as some of the other harassing characters, which we'll get into a little bit later. Still quite good. But against a lot of the meta hunters with a lot of these fast hunters, it can be a bit of a challenge for him. So Bloody Queen obviously very good against him. Something like Anne is actually very good against him. You could say, oh, as an Anne, the Batter is going to hit me out of my jump, so cancel my jump. No, good Annes will curve their jump and move around the ball, and Batter can't do anything. And we know how common Anne is in rank. Characters like Hullabaloo are very good against him, Goatman, things like that. So Ivy, against Ivy, Shadow, you can't do anything because you turn to look at her and she'll just scare you. So yeah, so Batter's not very good against a lot of the meta hunters, but he is still a pretty good character and can support games quite well. Next character A- tier is Cowboy. And Cowboy is a pretty good harassment character as well, a little bit better than Batter. Yeah, Lawyer is very good in solo rank. I just want to clarify that. Lawyer is very good in solo rank. But in other rank modes, not when you have 4-person team, not quite as good. Just you should be communicating with your team rather than using the map. Communicating, oh, the hunter's going here, telling your teammates, so you don't necessarily need a Lawyer. But Lawyer is good in solo. But anyways, Cowboy is the next survivor in A- tier. Cowboy is a very good harassment character. I've had a lot of Cowboys this season actually save games. Cowboy can be good. Now, he again, against some of the meta hunters, not as good, but good Cowboys can definitely help save games. I do think that Cowboy is good if you master him, but he's very difficult to play. He's also a better harasser against than Batter right now in the current meta. So Cowboy A- tier. The next survivor in A- tier is Thief, and Thief is a kind of a hit or miss survivor as well. Now, Thief can be quite good, and Thief can kite against some hunters really, really well, but against others, not as much. Something like a Bloody Queen, not really as good. Something like Anne is not really as good. Something like Opera Singer can be good if you're in the open where she can't dash, but if you're in a narrow area, she's just too fast. So it really depends. Against Ivy, really bad, because Ivy is just going to scare him. But Thief can be good against some other hunters. For example, Geisha, Thief can be quite good against. For example, Clerk. Photographer, things like that. Thief can be very good against these hunters that don't have super fast movement speed that can catch up right away. Geisha does, but Geisha, you just pick up the butterfly, hold the flashlight while looking at her, and she can't do anything. She kind of gets cooked. So, yeah. So Thief is A- tier. He's, again, gets countered by certain hunters, good against other hunters. So kind of hit or miss for that reason. That's what makes him puts him in A- tier, but still a good survivor nonetheless. Next survivor in A- tier is Barmaid. Barmaid is Barmaid over there. Barmaid is pretty good against certain hunters as well. Again, very hunter specific. Good against something like Dream Witch, Hermit, Ivy, because since Ivy has a hard time getting 2 back-to-back hits before the drink gets healed off. What's the other one? Clerk. So Barmaid's good against certain hunters, especially comboed with the Seer Owl or Harassment Support to help kite out her drink. But against other hunters that can get her down quickly, like Geisha is very good against Barmaid because she gets her dash cooldown up pretty quick, and she can get the double hit on Barmaid before the heal gets off. And hunters like Goatman really bad, Hullabaloo is not good. So stuff like that Barmaid struggles against, but against certain hunters Barmaid can be good. But because she's an A- tier, just because she is hit or miss against certain hunters. Certain hunters are good against her, certain hunters are bad. Next survivor in A- tier is going to be Gardener, and Gardener used to be like A+, close to S tier, back when Opera Singer was like the main meta. But then some new hunters came out, like Ivy, which is good against Gardener, Hullabaloo, which is good against Gardener. Goatman is actually not as good against Gardener as people think. Gardener can be decent against him in some situations, but still not super great. She is good against Opera Singer still, but against some of the other meta hunters, not as good. Not good against Wax Artist. And can be weak to like some other like high mobility hunters. Like doesn't have any kiting potential against Hermit, things like that. Hunters that can stun her and are usually pretty good. So yeah. No, Lanternist. I'm gonna talk about Lanternist at the end. So Lanternist will be added. So Gardener is A- tier. She is pretty good, but not the best. But pretty good. The next survivor in A- tier is going to be Prospector. Prospector is a good support character against certain hunters, bad against others. Kind of the same thing as for these other A-. You're going to kind of notice a trend for A- tier. A- tier survivors are good, but they are weak to certain hunters, and that's what keeps them in A- tier instead of A+, if that makes sense. So Prospector is weak to things like something like Goatman is not very good. Something like Opera Singer is not very good. She's just too fast. BQ is typically not very good, but he can be good against other hunters. Like not bad against Geisha, very good against Anne, pretty good against Naiad if used properly. So Prospector definitely can be very good, but he's also hunter specific as well, and that's what keeps him in A- tier instead of A+. The next hunter the next survivor in A- tier is Enchantress. And Enchantress is same thing. I love Enchantress. I've been playing her a lot this season. I think she's great in rank. But again, she does struggle against certain hunters, and she's very good against others. So she's very good against something like Geisha, which has just really been a common hunter in rank recently. Decent against Goatman. And you believe it or not, actually pretty good against Ivy. Once Ivy, you just don't look at the Ivy, you just keep running straight using stuns to avoid her catching up to you. But she's also not very good against Wax Artist. She's not super good against Anne, especially if the Anne has presence for the cross. She's very bad against Bloody Queen. So things like that are a bit challenging. Now, Enchantress does have a cool trick. She can stun the Bloody Queen out of the mirror if you time the stun perfectly. But the problem is the BQ will just mirror from a distance, and you're not able to do that. So not as good. But Enchantress, weak to certain hunters, very good against others. Good character for rank, but that's, again, what keeps her in A- tier. Next survivor in A- tier is Weeping Clown. Weeping Clown is pretty good right now in the meta. He is a solid rescuer, doesn't decode as slow as some of the other rescuers, which makes him quite good, but his kiting potential isn't quite as good as the other rescuers, and that's literally the only reason he's an A- tier instead of higher. So Weeping Clown, A- tier. And finally, the last survivor in A- tier is Dancer. Now, Dancer used to be A+, but the problem is Dancer, again, is just weak to some of the strong hunters in the game. Not particularly good against Bloody Queen. You can spin away from the mirror, which is good, but good Bloody Queens can usually play around it. Not particularly good against Anne. Not very good against Naiad will just water off the music box area, force her to run in the open, which is bad for Dancer. Not particularly good against Goatman or even Opera, because Opera is just too fast, can get through the slow boxes. So while Dancer is a fun character and not bad against certain hunters, very good against things like Wax Artist and Geisha, she's just very bad, pretty bad against some of the other meta hunters. So again, that's why she's A- tier. Good against some hunters, not good against others. Moving on to the next tier, which is A+ tier. The first survivor in A+ tier is Professor. And Professor is very good against a lot of the hunters right now. Now, he is weak to some, but he's a lot better against some of the meta hunters than the A- tier survivors. So Professor is very good against something like Geisha, can be good against Naiad. You just run in the open out of the water area and use the scale when she tries to hit you. Keep in mind, Professor's ability slows down the hunter swing when they're nearby, so it's easier for him to instant scale the swing. He can be good against Goatman. He can be good against Opera Singer. So he's just good against a lot of these really good hunters. Now, he can be weak to something like Anne or Bloody Queen if she mirrors from a distance, but he's very good against a lot of the hunters in the game. So that's what makes him A+ tier. The next survivor in A+ tier is Puppeteer. Now, Puppeteer is good because he's just kind of like, if you're one of those people who's like, yeah, I'm not really good at kiting, again, I would recommend practicing your kiting in quick match and custom matches with friends before going into rank. But if you're one of those people who's like, I'm not very good at kiting, I'm just going to play Faro Lady so I can go invisible, maybe I'll get lucky and the hunter won't hit me. Instead, why don't you play a character that guarantees yourself avoiding the hit, and that's Puppeteer. Puppeteer is just a way better version of Faro Lady because he literally can absorb hits for free. If you consider yourself not a very good kiter, Puppeteer literally can make up for that. So Puppeteer is he's just that good. So when the hunter gets close and is about to hit you, you can use the scale to absorb the hit. Very good. And good against a lot of the meta hunters. Good against Goatman. Good against Hullabaloo, actually, because when you take the hit while you're in puppet form, it resets the balls back to 0. Good against, can be good against single hit hunters like Geisha, Bloody Queen, even Naiad, or all these hunters, Opera Singer. Puppeteer is just really good against a lot of hunters in general. And then, again, if you consider yourself a weak kiter, Puppeteer can really help with that. So Puppeteer definitely an A+ tier survivor. The next survivor in A+ tier is Magician. Now, Magician's kind of like right. I was considering putting him in A- tier since he is weak to certain hunters, but he's good against so many hunters in the meta right now. After his recent buff, where he uses the illusion clone that he left behind actually blocks the Anne cat. If Anne is using the cat on him, the cat will jump on the illusion. So Magician can actually counter Anne in some situations if done properly. And he can be good against other hunters as well, like good against Geisha or Bloody Queen or Opera Singer or something like that. So Magician, just a very good kiter in general, A+ tier. Sorry about the dogs in the background. I don't know what they're barking at. They just bark at random things sometimes. The next survivor in A+ tier is going to be Coordinator. Coordinator is just a really good survivor in general. Just the ability to have a guaranteed stun on the hunter. Not guaranteed, obviously the hunter can dodge it, so try not to shoot a wall or a rock, I guess. But Coordinator is just very good. Safe rescuer if the hunter doesn't have excitement, because you can shoot the hunter and get the save. Very good for supporting rebound kites. If you get the rescue off as Coordinator, you can use the flare gun to stun the hunter, give your survivor teammate a lot of distance. Good kiter, because Coordinator can just flare gun the hunter and get a lot of distance herself. Coordinator is just a very good all-round balanced character. Very strong. Isn't really weak to a whole lot of hunters. A+ tier, straight up. Coordinator, good character, for sure. Next survivor in A+ tier is Entomologist. Entomologist also very good, very balanced. Again, this is a character, if you consider yourself a weaker kiter, Entomologist is a good character to use. Now, again, I would encourage you guys to go into quick matches and customs, practice your kiting a lot before playing rank matches. But Entomologist is, again, another one of those characters. You can kind of get on the bees. You get a speed boost. You can the bees will absorb hits from the hunter. If you get off the bees, it can slow the hunter down. Very good. It counters a lot of things like Axe Boy. Now, Ento is weak to something like Bloody Queen, but besides that, Entomologist can be good against quite a bit of hunters in the game. So Entomologist is A+ tier. Also a good support character, good for solo queue, because you can support your teammates with the bees. Let's say your teammates typically would die quickly, support them with the bees, and it could be quite good. The next character in A+ tier is Ford. Ford is always going to be a solid rank survivor. Against a lot of the hunters, Ford's harassment is just really good. Any hunter that isn't super fast, Forward can stun, give the survivor a lot of distance. You might say, well, Forward's really bad against something like Ivy or Opera Singer or whatever. While that may be true, I played a game with Zeus recently where he played Forward against an Opera and did really well and actually saved a lot of the match there with the Forward stuff. So Forward can just be a good Forward can really carry games. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. Forward is really hard to play. Forward is one of the hardest characters in the game to play. So if you're someone who's newer to the game, do not play Forward under any circumstances. But once you start to get very well equipped with this character and play the game quite a lot, then this Forward is a good character for rank. This is a rank focused tier list because a lot of people watching this want to know which characters are good to play in rank to help themselves rank up quicker, and Forward is definitely one of those characters that is good in rank. The next survivor in A+ tier is Patient. Patient is not as good as it used to be. A lot of fast hunters, characters like Ivy can cancel his hook. Hullabaloo Red Zone can keep from using his hook. So Patient is definitely not as good as he used to be. But he's still a very solid all-round kiter and can be a solid rescuer as well because you can kind of hook past the hunter and go in for the save. It's not much to say about Patient. He's a solid kiter. Certain maps he's very good for like hooking into like Factory on Leo's Memory, things like that. And the dog's losing the ride again. Okay. Anyways, Patient is a very good all-around character. Again, can be weak against certain characters, but A+ tier for sure. The next character in A+ tier is Wildling. Wildling is good because he is pretty much unchaseable. If the hunter goes to the Wildling, unless it's like a gamekeeper or something, the hunter goes to the Wildling, you just get off on your boar, and the hunter has to change targets. Super good, consistent character, does decode very slow, but the good news is that Wildling also cannot get cut off from a distance. If the hunter tries to cut off the Wildling from a distance, he just gets on his boar and rides up to the chair for free. Now, you have to be careful that you don't feed a lot of presents to the hunter for free with Wildling. That's very crucial, but Wildling is a good, solid, all-around rescue character, so A+ tier. The next survivor in A+ tier is Journalist. Journalist is another very good, strong rescue character. You just put down the little Orpheus, the little bro, and he goes in for the rescue. And if the hunter hits the little bro, hits the little Orphe, then Journalist gets the save. If it's the Journalist, then the Orphe gets the save. So either way, it's a win-win. WW. W Journalist. So Journalist is just very good for that reason. Also a good kiter in general. Just putting the Orpheus in the pallet stun the hunter when he comes through, or force the hunter to go around the pallet, or bait the little bro into dropping the pallet, the Orpheus into dropping the pallet, and the hunter breaks it. Also breaks the pallet slower if it's an Orpheus pallet drop. Journalist is just very good kiter, very good rescuer, definitely A+ tier. Next survivor in A+ tier is Cheerleader. Cheerleader isn't super good in the meta, but she can be a very good support character. Let's say one of your teammates dies, and they get on chair, and then they get rescued, and then the Cypher Machine's almost primed. You can go cheer on that teammate while body blocking at the same time, get the teammate high enough motivation where they can jump back up after getting knocked down. Let's say the hunter manages to hit through the body block, and then you can get back up right away. So Cheerleader is actually just a good support character. A good kiting character in general as well. Now, she isn't as good against certain hunters, like Opera Singer obviously is not as good because she just catches up right away. It's pretty bad. But some other hunters in general, she can be quite good against. So Cheerleader, a little bit hit or miss, but is A+ tier just because of her support can be so good. Absolutely game-changing. So Cheerleader, A+ tier. Next survivor in A+ tier, believe it or not, is actually Mechanic. Mechanic's been seeing a lot of bans recently in rank, which is a bit of a surprise because everyone's kind of like, oh, Mechanic, what? Who really plays Mechanic? But actually, Mechanic is really good right now. We had a game earlier in rank today where somebody died. I think it was one of the teammates died super fast, and we almost won. The last Cypher was 85% after the survivor was rescued twice from chair because Mechanic's Cypher Rush is just so fast. So Mechanic is just a very good, being able to decode 2 ciphers at one time helps you get to the end game so much faster. Very consistent survivor for tying because of how fast the decoding is. It's very hard for hunters to win against Mechanic because of that cipher rush if utilized properly. Now, Mechanic is a hard character to play. If you endure the game, I do not recommend her, but once you started to practice with her and get her down, she's very good. And a lot of hunters do ban her in rank. She's just that good. The next survivor, oh my god, in A+ tier is Fire Investigator. Fire Investigator is just a good all-round survivor. The ability to put up an airbag in a narrow alleyway area to block off the hunter, forcing them to charge attack to break it, giving yourself a lot of distance. Plus, you can use your airbags for speed boosts as well. Fire Investigator just has a lot of good things going for him. The speed boost, slowing down the hunter, it can use it to support teammates as well. So he's got kiting abilities, he's got supporting abilities. Fire Investigator, strong A+ tier survivor. Not super easy to play, but definitely one, once you get him down, can be very good. Next survivor at A+ tier is Escapologist. This is another survivor that's like a newer survivor to the game, but he is a solid rescue character. You can throw up the smoke screen on a rescue. It's not super impactful, but it can actually be pretty good. I've seen a few games where hunters lose survivors because of Escapologist smoke screen. Also, Escapologist has a guaranteed avoidance of 1 hit, which is really good as well. Super convenient to have. And also the ability to move the survivor to a new chair. Moving the survivor away from a cipher machine. Let's say the hunter chairs on the one of the survivor's cipher machines that they're decoding. Escapologist can move them away and they can keep decoding that cipher. It's super good. Or they can move them closer to the Escapologist where he can go for save a lot easier. Or let's say they get shared at a chair that's like right in the open. Maybe it's a hard chair to rescue from if it's a good camping hunter, or there's nowhere for the survivor to rebound kite to because it's just a really bad chair near no good pallets or no good windows. Escapologist can move the survivor to a better kiting area and rescue from there. So Escapologist, just a really good survivor in general, really fun to play as well, and also a character that I actually have been banning a bit as a hunter when I play in rank. So Escapologist, very good, A+ tier survivor. The next survivor at A+ tier is Priestess. Priestess is no longer like the S tier that she used to be, but she's still quite strong in rank. Just the ability, just some maps, Priestess is just broken. Maps like Eversleeping Town, Chinatown, can be very good in Leo's Memory, is super good on Sacred Heart Hospital. Priestess support is very good. Her kiting on those big building maps like Eversleeping, very good. The long portal, global portal, super good for getting teammates out of there. Let's say someone gets rescued with Tide Turner, they take the bait with Tide Turner, and they run through the portal, and they can escape the hunter that way. Priestess falls through behind, heals them, and they're back up. Super good. And they're on the other side of the map all of a sudden. On top of that, the long portal can connect to another cipher machine. Let's say the Mercenary needs to go for a rescue. Priestess can use the long portal to connect to the Mercenary. She goes through the portal and finishes the Mercenary cipher machine for him while the Mercenary goes for save. Really good character. Just Priestess is just great. Priestess will always be good unless she gets nerfed significantly. A+ tier survivor. The next survivor in A+ tier is Archer. Now I'm sure Zeus is happy to see the survivor so high up. I know he's been loving Archer recently. Archer is just a good character in general. Good supporter, good kiter, good harasser. Archer has a lot of good things going for her. She's not weak to a lot of hunters. She can definitely carry games by stunning the hunters and helping the survivors get distance, stuff like that. She can kite well. Archer is just a really good support character, kiting, harassment. She's got a lot of great things going for her. Really cool, really fun toolbox as well. Archer is just a fun character to play and a solid A+ tier survivor. Now, she is pretty difficult to play, so if you're newer to the game, I would not recommend her, but I would say that she is good once you get her down. The next survivor in A+ tier is Knight. Knight is very good just because when he rescues, he has a guaranteed, basically like a mini Tide Turner effect with the shield, unless it's a chip hunter, that can be pretty bad. You can also use the sword to rescue, which is really good, since he doesn't have to go straight up to the chair. He can use his ability with the helmets to avoid certain hunters from hitting him or using their ability, which is good. Just a good kiter in general because of that. Certain hunters he might be weaker to, like Clown. If Clown's already in his rocket dash, he can't stop it. But other characters he can be really good against. So Knight is just a really good rescuer and kiting character. Solid A+ tier. Next character in A+ tier is Aeroplanist. Aeroplanist, very good kiting character as well. The ability to jetpack away from the hunter, creating distance is very good. He can be a great rescuer because he does the flying jetpack, the hover jetpack, where he flies up into the air, flies all the way up to the chair, gets the save, and the hunter can't cut him off from a distance. So Aeroplanist is a good rescuer and a good kiter as well. So just a really good all-around character. Definitely A+ tier. The next survivor in A+ tier is Meteorologist. Meteorologist has been really good recently. A lot of hunters have started to ban her in rank. Just the ability to kind of choose which sort of thing she wants to go with. She can either hover which is really good against certain hunters, or she can push other hunters back. Whichever character you're going against, if you need to create more distance by pushing the hunter back, you can go for that ability. If you need to hover against some other sort of hunter, that can be very good. It's also very good for rescuing. You can hover into the chair if the hunter tries to cut you off from a distance. You can hover for a bit, close the distance to the chair, and you don't get cut off from so far away. So it also makes her a good rescuer. Meteorologist, super good character right now in the meta. Definitely A+ tier. The next survivor in A+ tier is Acrobat. Acrobat is just a super strong kiter. He's just a kiter, a very good kiter. The ability to bomb through the windows, you won't get terror shocked on those bombs. You can create a lot of distance depending on the situation. You can use a slow bomb to slow down the hunter, a red bomb to cancel their abilities, or a interaction speed bomb to slow down their window vault. Let's say they're at a window in red church, and you put the interaction speed bomb. The hunter vaults it slowly, and Acro gets a ton of distance. Acro can also make distance himself by holding bombs and jumping forward. So Acrobat just is one of the best kiters in the game, hands down. Great kiting character, A+ tier. The last survivor in A+ tier is actually Novelist. Novelist is really good right now. Novelist has a guaranteed pallet stun, and when you pair that with Great Power, the Persona Web trait in the bottom left corner of the Survivor Persona Web that stuns the hunter longer on a pallet stun, it's such a perfect combination. Just the ability to get a guaranteed pallet stun, switching the hunter into the pallet and pallet stunning, is just so good. On top of that, Novelist cannot get cut off from a distance when going for rescue because the hunter tries to cut him off. He just switches places with the hunter and goes in for the save. On top of that, if he goes for a rescue and he never uses his book for save, he can use it to switch the hunter farther away, giving the survivor who was rescued more distance. He's just so good. Good supporter, good kiter, Novelist, good rescuer. Novelist is just really strong right now in the meta. Moving into the last tier, which is S tier. The first survivor in S tier is Psychologist. Psychologist, pretty self-explanatory. Can take 3 hits. I mean, that's just really good. That's another character, if you're weak at kiting and you want to get better at kiting, play Psychologist. It's just all raw kiting practice, which is great. And on top of that, she can take 3 guaranteed hits. Super strong. Really, that's it. Three hits is broken. It's just guaranteed to be a pretty long kite because of that, and she can also heal teammates from across the map, which is also really good. So Psychologist, just S tier, hands down, for that reason. The next survivor in S tier is Gravekeeper. Gravekeeper, very good rescue character as of right now. He's very good against things like Wax Artist, Gamekeeper, pretty much anything. You can shovel Bloody Queen mirrors you. Breaking Wheel is good against Goatman. He's just good against so many hunters. Not very good against Opera, because when she hits him out of shovel, she can catch up really quickly, but he's just a very good rescuer. If the hunter tries to cut you off from a distance, you shovel, he hits you out of shovel, go into attack recovery, so that way you can get up to the chair and make the save. You can shovel all the way up to the chair. Good kiter, as you saw before when we were playing Nightmare and chasing him. Even then, it was hard to down him. So now the biggest issue with the Gravekeeper, he does feed presence. When the hunter hits the shovel, they get presence from it, which helps them get to full presence quicker, which increases their abilities. But overall, Gravekeeper is just a very good character in general. The next character in S tier is Seer. Seer is a very good character. Just the ability to put up an owl to absorb a hit is just so good. Now, certain hunters he's not as good against, maybe something like Ripper, because he has the Chip Foggy Blade where he does the quarter damage, which will knock the owl off, or something like Bonbon, not as good against not against Wax Artist, but super good against single hit hunters. Great against Geisha, great against Bloody Queen, can be good against Goatman, can be good against Opera Singer. Now, not exactly the best kiters against them because they can catch up really quickly, but since you're banning a lot of those hunters anyway, Seer is just really good. When Seer's not banned, you definitely want to try to pick him up if possible. Seer is a good support character and definitely one of the more banned characters in Rake. All right, moving on to the next survivor in S tier, which is Antiquarian. Antiquarian is a very good support character, very good harasser, very good kiter. That's just it. Antiquarian can literally carry games with her kiting, with her supporting, and just the ability to stun these hunters and prevent them from hitting the teammate is really good. Hitting you is really good. Let's say you're supporting your teammate's rebound kite, you just can keep stunning the hunter, pushing them back, and give your teammate distance. Antiquarian is just a great character. Not easy to play. If you're newer to the game, I do not recommend her. She takes time to master, very hard to play, but very good character once you get her down. Not super hard to play. She's medium difficulty, but still not a starting character for sure. But she is definitely an S tier survivor, very good. The next character in S tier is First Officer. First Officer, very good rescuer. The ability to essentially go invisible while saving is just really good. As we know, as we saw earlier, he is weak to certain hunters like Anne and Wax Artist, but against some other characters, very good rescuer. He cannot really get stuffed because if he gets hit out of his pocket watch, he gets a 5-second tide turner effect, which allows him to make the rescue anyways. So yeah, First Officer, just a very good rescuer. Almost guaranteed on the save. That's how good he is, and he's really hard for hunters to chase because of his pocket watch ability. So First Officer, definitely S tier. And last but not least, the final survivor in S tier, and we have one more survivor after this. That's Lanternist. We'll talk about after this. Is Mercenary. Mercenary is the best survivor for rank. He's just so good in rank. The ability to be a very consistent rescuer against a lot of the hunters in the game just makes him so good. The only hunters he's really weak against is probably like Goatman and like maybe Hullabaloo or something, but you're always banning them. You should always be banning those hunters in rank. So Mercenary is just really good, a very safe rescuer. The ability to take extra hits, having a delayed effect, makes him a very safe rescuer. Having those elbow pads is very good. It makes it very hard for any hunter to actually chase him. Mercenary is just a really consistent rescuer. In tournament, he's not quite as good because Goatman and things like that exist, but in rank, Mercenary is excellent. So it's definitely a character I would recommend. Also, Mercenary, as a rescuer, you get a lot of points for rescuing in rank, so that increases the amount of points you gain or decreases the amount of points you lose after getting a loss in rank. So Mercenary is a very good survivor for rank. And last but not least, the final survivor is Lanternist. Now, Lanternist is going to be put in A+ tier. She is an A+ tier survivor. Unfortunately, on the tier list image, we don't have her to be shown, but Lanternist is A+ tier. She's not A- because she may be weak to certain hunters like Clown, or maybe something like Nightmare. It's not the super common hunters. She's not weak against. She is weak against some of the less common the less common rank hunters, but against a lot of the meta hunters, she is quite good against. So Lanternist is going to be in A+ tier. The ability to prevent the cipher machine from moving, so the hunter doesn't know which cipher is being worked on. She can pause it, and then the cipher machine progress just jumps because she freezes it. Is just super good. The ability to delay hits has really good synergy with Flywheel. So you take a hit, and then once your ability ends, you can flywheel it and avoid the damage. And also, you just look behind you when you kite. Now, Lanternist is not easy to play because you have to time the swings. You look behind you, you see the hunter's about to hit your image. As soon as the hunter goes for the swing, you move it, and then they try to go for the swing again. You move it, and you do stuff like that. Also, Lanternist, if she starts her image really far away, she can get all the way up to the chair to make a rescue. She's also a good rescuer because the hunter can't really do anything. If they try to go for an image far away and cut her off, she'll just drop the image and or not cut her off, but if the hunter is like looking to try to cut off the survivor, you just start your ability really far away, and if the hunter moves far away to try to hit the image, you just move it up, and the hunter's all of a sudden not near the chair anymore, and you get a free save. So there's some pretty fun tricks with that. But yeah, Lanternist, definitely not S tier. She is not that good because she is weak to certain hunters, and also she's not easy to play. I've seen a lot of people make a lot of mistakes when playing her, and so a lot of Lanternists in NAU rank have not been doing very well with her. But once you start to get her down for sure, I think she's A+. I don't think she's high A+. I think she's lower A+, but she's definitely A+ for sure. Definitely a strong survivor, and can be good in the meta. That's going to wrap it up for the video. If you guys have any questions, don't forget to ask in the comment section below. And I hope you guys have a great day, great night, wherever you are in the world. Peace out for now, and I'll see you all in the next one.